Hi guys, and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Miguel with Skyline Fast Credit Repair, and I just wanted to go over a few things right now that I'm going to be talking about throughout the next weeks, months. That I'm going to start uploading some videos, some helpful hints that will possibly help you um, to repair your credit or get you a good idea of why you should repair your credit and the different ways that you can do that. And either you can hire me or you can try to do it yourself. It's not that difficult, but it definitely takes time, and it takes you to practice and really while you're cleaning up certain things in your report, whether it be collection, late payments, and such. It's going to take a lot of time and you knowing what you're doing to do so. A few things that I wanted to talk today about was the FICO 8 and the Vantage, which is a difference. And different card providers provide different scores. Um, Such as, let's say, for example, American Express, which I happen to be a card holder. I actually have 5 cards with them. Um, American Express provides your Experian credit score, correct? So with that, Experian is going to be looked at by American Express, by just going to get my cards real quick. By American Express, and also by here I have my 5 American Express cards. But yes, like Experian is gonna be through your American Express. On your portal and on the website, in your account, you're gonna have access to that FICO score. Every month they'll provide an update every month. I strongly recommend though to invest in yourself and get creditchecktotal.com. It's a great monitoring service, and I strongly recommend you to pay the $14.95 or $29.95. You can always negotiate with them to drop the price from that $29.95, just so you can up to date your credit repair, your credit reports. You can have your full reports, anytime you want. You have access to it, whether you want to buy a car, a house, and stuff like that. But a little more about the FICO and the Vantage score. The Vantage score is provided through Credit Karma, okay? And the Vantage score, to me, is really useless because not a lot of banks use it. Unless you're gonna get like a car or a house, the Vantage score is what is usually provided. It's usually what your bank's gonna pull, your Vantage score. Now, the Vantage score, it varies. Okay, the Vantage score, I believe, only pulls like the last 2-3 years of activity in your credit report. So let's say, for example, if you had a couple late payments from 4 or 5 years ago, that's not going to weigh heavy on your Vantage score. Okay, it's not going to weigh heavy. Now, if you had it recently, it will very heavy. Okay. Now, the difference between the FICO and the Vantage score, I like using the FICO score more, and I like to keep up to date on that one because that's where I usually get a lot of my funding. I do a lot of business funding for myself, a lot of personal funding. That's why I have over 25, 26 cards that I use for business and I use for personal use, for traveling and stuff like that. So with that being said, I believe the FICO score is the best to keep an eye on. That's why I strongly recommend to get the creditchecktotal.com and not use Credit Karma so much, because Credit Karma is very outdated. The Vantage score does not really take into account, like I said, the whole credit report in total. Okay, so those are some of the main differences that I look at. It's just really the age and just the reporting. Okay, the FICO monitoring service, such as the Credit Check Total, is more updated. It's more updated, like week by week by week, other than just every month, every 2 months by Credit Karma. Another thing I wanted to discuss, guys, I wanted to discuss A lot of people tell me like, oh man, what is a good score? Okay, what is this? What is that? Well, I had like an 820 a few months ago. Then I had, I applied for a lot of funding, and my score dropped down to like 780s right now, which is still a great score. Anything above a 720, 740, guys, really will get you the top deals, right? Anything above 800, it's going to get you the best deals possible, right? Another thing is, what is a healthy score? Like I just said, 720 and above is going to get you the best rates and stuff. A healthy score to me is anything above 670, 680, right? Will get you stuff approved, right? Credit cards, store cards, stuff like that. It's going to get you that stuff. That's a decent, healthy score, right? 670 and above, 680 will get you the cards that you want. Here's the key thing though. It will not get you the biggest limits, right? It will not get you the biggest limits as someone with a 700, right? That's what I want to touch base on. Now, another major thing is the age of the accounts, okay? I'm going to give you an example. Let's say somebody has a 670, 680, and they applied for a Chase card or American Express card, right? A 670, 680 will get you approved for some of these cards, right? We'll get you approved for some of these cards. Here's the main difference from someone with a 670, 680 score and someone with a 720, 750 credit score, okay? Someone with a 720, 750 score will probably get approved for 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, right? I remember my first American Express card. I got approved. My first limit was 6,000, right? Months later, it went up 7,000, 8,000, 10,000. Right now, my highest is 25,000, 30,000 with American Express. Personal side, I have a couple of businesses that are bigger, but that's another story. That's some of the main differences, right? You get more trust by the bank when you have a bigger score, a better score. Okay. Another key thing I want to talk about is age, not age of the person so much, but age of the accounts, right? Age of the account. Someone with a 670, let's say for example, he has a mortgage, he has like 5 cards, he's been responsible, but maybe he had a mishap a couple years ago, a late payment or something like that, and dropped his score, right? And he has a 670, 680. If he has low utilization on the car, he's been very responsible. And someone with a 700, 720 doesn't have a lot of stuff on his credit, but he just has a high score, might not be better than the guy with 670, 680. So there's a lot of major factors, but for illustration purposes, let's just say, for example, someone with a mortgage, a car loan that he's paid off, he's paying on the mortgage, he has a couple of installment loans that he's been paid off, and both of them have about 5-7 years, right, of age. I'm going to use it the same, identical. And one of them has a 680, one of them has a 720, right? They have similar utilization, similar income. They're going to get approved for different size limits because your credit limit, your history, and all that dictates your limit, dictates the amount of risk the lender is trying to take on you. Okay, so if I go apply for something, and let's say I have a 780, I have a history of like over 10 years, 11 years, and then someone goes with like 6 months, right? And he doesn't have a lot of stuff. He has a 780, 790. He's not gonna go get approved for a $10,000 credit card. He's gonna get like 500 or 1,000, right? Because the number matters to a certain extent, right? To a certain extent. But if you don't have the age, the responsibility, if you don't have the results like in front of you to tell the lender, look, I'm looking for a $10,000, $15,000 limit, they're not gonna give it to you, right? Because they don't want to share, they don't want to take the risk. Okay, so that was the purpose of this video, guys. An overview of VantageScore's FICO score and a little differences between the different scores, what you could get approved for, what can't you get approved for, and stuff like that. I'm going to make a second video in a little while explaining a little more about credit repair and some of the services that I'm going to be offering, and all my information is going to be below. So I'm going to go ahead and in this video and make another video, a little overview about the services and a little overview about different ways to keep your credit score healthy. Stay tuned, guys. This is Miguel with Skyline Fast Credit Repair. I'll be watching you guys later. Thank you.